Hi everybody, and welcome to this second edition of the Lectio Divina. So just a reminder, the Lectio Divina, the divine word, is where I take a gospel passage and I dissect it and I talk to you about its meaning and set it into some context. So today we're going to look at a very short passage in Luke's Gospel, and it comes in Luke chapter 10. And it is where Jesus meets Martha and Mary. This passage is only 4.5 lines long, but actually we learn a huge amount from it with regard to how we should act ourselves. So in effect, Jesus comes to a town and Martha invites Jesus into her home. And Martha has a sister called Mary, and Mary sits herself in effect at the feet of Jesus and just listens intently to him. And Martha is going about the house and she's doing all the jobs and she's acting as this great host, and she's focusing on cleaning and tidying and bringing snacks and food. And she says to Jesus, "Don't you care that I'm doing all of this work while my sister's doing nothing? Tell her to do something." She actually instructs Jesus to what to do. And Jesus says, "Martha, just stop what you're doing. Mary is doing exactly the right thing." I like to think in this passage that Mary is just heavily focused on everything that Jesus is saying, like a real intent focus. This summer we had the Olympics, and I'm always really amazed when you watch the running races, particularly the sprints, so the 100-metre sprint, the 200-metre sprint. The level of focus in the 3, 4, 5 minutes in the build-up to those races, I think it's remarkable. You've got these sprinters and they're in a stadium, there's lots of cheering, there's lots of different colours, there's other events going on. There's just a huge amount of spectacle going on around them. Yet they are focused on one thing, and that's running their race. Now, running might seem like a really simple thing, but actually they've got a technique to it and they are focused on getting it right. And I always am in awe of the level of focus that we see there. And I suppose whenever I've read this story, that's how I like to envisage Mary. She's listening directly from Jesus. She's listening to the Word of God. And she is engrossed in it. She is feeding off it. She wants to hear more and learn from it. The problem is, though, that in the story we've got Martha, and Martha is focused on absolutely everything but the Word of God. And I suppose when I reflect on this and I think about you as students, and I think about myself and I think about staff, sometimes it's really easy to not focus on the things that you should. Sometimes it's really easy to just be distracted by the things that are immediate, or by the passing things that happen that grab our attention in that instant, rather than what really the key messages are of how we should be. The reality is, everybody, that if we were to focus on the true message of Jesus, if we were to focus on Jesus like Mary is, and take in that message and act upon it, well, how wonderful would that be? And that's what we have to try and do. Ignore all the distractions going on around us and make sure that we focus in on that message of Jesus. Because if we do that, we will in effect love our neighbour, we'll love God, and we'll take care of all of those around us that we care for, especially those within our wonderful school community. Thank you, everybody, and take that message into the rest of your day.